Good morning. It's April, not April. I'm losing my mind in this sleep deprivation program. It's June 19th, I believe. It's Monday, and I'm out, got my mower started, going to mow my lawn, and look who happens to show up from next door. A fire engine happens to pull up right next to my house with the flashing lights. Um, I don't know what kind of incident's happening here, but I have not heard any sirens or anything. I think it's being staged, as happens many times. This same truck once drove by my house and threw a bunch of hose off in my driveway and just left it there for a few hours for no reason. They just threw it out and left it there in my driveway. The reason I bring this up is this morning, a couple of crews of CAL FIRE convict trucks went by with their sirens on. I think there were 3 this time. Went through town, took off, and I'm looking around. There's no fires. Very weird. Very weird for CAL FIRE to show up with convict crews when there's already some kind of an incident going on. There were no other engines. There were no other anything that I could see. And yesterday, I was, looking down the street here, and 2 convict trucks came by with their lights on. They went right on this road past my house. And then a couple of engines went by. And I'm looking out west of here because the road dead ends out in the mountains a few miles from here, and there's no fire, there's no smoke. When there's a fire here, you know there's a fire because it is very hot and dry in Shasta County. This is where all the monster fires are that are on the news. And oddly enough, just to interrupt a little session here, here's another white car with the headlights on, of course. Middle of a nice day, got to have those lights on flashing. Anyway, yesterday I'm looking for like 2 hours for this fire that doesn't exist, and then out here parked in this lot across from my house is not 1 but 2 semi trucks with low beds with CAL FIRE dozers on them. Normally, to have even 1 dozer show up, you got a pretty good fire going by that time, but there were 2 parked out here doing nothing. Unbelievable. I've never seen that much response to a non-fire. And there's nowhere to go out here. The road goes out and ends. The fire would be within sight if I could see it. They never unloaded the dozers. I could not see smoke. But here we've got this going on today. So this is the 3rd incident since yesterday of an incident that seems to be a nothing. I assume they're faking a medical here. Who knows? It wouldn't be the first time they've done it. But this is, I drive through Redding, and it's very typical that a fire truck or an ambulance or some kind of EMS will intercept me on the same exact block of town every time I go through, or they'll do 3:45 in the morning. They woke me up the other night, and the minute I went outside my door to see what would be going on, 3 cops went by on their freeway, precisely timed with me coming out the door. They all flipped their sirens on in stereo, drove past my house and flipped them back off, and it was silent. My whole point here is that untold millions of your tax dollars are being wasted for these people to run expensive, fuel-sucking equipment around in this state that is banning lawnmowers because they say we have too much pollution, with their stupid green agenda claiming that electric engines are emission free. They don't bother to tell you there's a power plant somewhere generating those emissions. But that's what they're forcing down our throats. But meanwhile, they're forcing us to choke off all of our internal combustion engines while they run these incredibly inefficient vehicles around. Usually they're running around. The ambulances, 9 times out of 10, they will not have lights and siren on. They're just driving around, joyriding. And they find me and they find other TIs. And they parade around in fire trucks. And I'm not even going to talk about all the battalion chief trucks, big giant 4-door 4-wheel drives, and they're just cruising around. No incidents going on. They just happen to, box you in traffic. They just happen to be there. And it's all plausibly deniable. Just wondering when this country's going to wake up and get sick of this Stasi regime. Because it's not only just this stalking, costing a bunch of money, it's destroying TI's lives with directed energy weapons attacks. all under the name of having us falsely listed on the terrorist screening database. That justifies all this covert harassment, torture, organized stalking. I guess that's the punishment for the crimes that we're supposed to know we're committing, even though we've never been actually accused of them formally. And that is the report from Stasi America from Northern California today.